Hmm. Perfect. Okay, I got it. So Stampikoski, this is an awesome idea, by the way, and I'm going to show you a spreadsheet here in a sec showing you how awesome this idea is. So Stampikoski says, started doing Uber Eats last week, and if I do a couple orders every night and make like 30 or $40, it adds up to $1,000 Bitcoin purchase each month. And we just did something similar to this a little while ago, talking about mounting TVs, though, because we saw a tweet. Remember that one? That was kind of a joke. But let's take a look at this. So we're going to change this. We're going to be Uber Eats. Uber Eats for Sats. All right, so Stampikoski here thinks that he or she, but that's it, can make about $1,000 per month. So I kept this here for the year. Bitcoin being $100,000. I think it might be higher than this at some point. It's currently lower than this, so you'll actually get more sats for that based on where we are today. But let's just assume that for the rest of the year, Bitcoin's going to be in and around $100,000. Again, I think that that's low, but anyways, you'll still get the point here. So that's 1 million sats per month driving Uber Eats for sats for a total of 8 million sats. So you take that, what's this now? This is should be 0.08. So you do that, you take that over, and even if you stop there, even if you stopped after 2025, this is what the next 10 years is going to look like for you. So that, I think this is right. Hold on. 140. Yeah. So this is the purchasing power essentially. So in 2025, they're going to have about $8,000 worth of purchasing power from driving Uber Eats. 2026, this is based on Bitcoin going up 40% a year. The historical average has been about 50 or 60. I think it's going to be higher than this, but for conservative measures and metrics here, we're just going to use 40% per year. So at the end of 2034, 10 years later, that Uber Eats, those 8 months of driving for Uber Eats, you should have the purchasing power of about $165,000. And then this is where it gets really crazy. Over the next 10 years, so if you held on to that, if you did that for the next 8 months and you held on to that Bitcoin for 20 years, this is where it gets bananas. So this is assuming a price of Bitcoin at 2044, 20 years from now. The price would be about $59 million per Bitcoin. That 8 million sats that you had should have a purchasing power of about $4.7 million US. So that's why, I mean, the point of that is just to highlight, number one, it's going to get much harder, right? You could work Uber Eats during all these 20 years and the actual amount of real money of Bitcoin, assuming the price increase, you're going to get less and less sats over time for that. But the best thing you can be doing right now is getting as many sats as you can and holding on to that for a long time. So essentially, I mean, the way to look at this is if you actually did that for 8 months and you got 8 million sats for doing it and you held on to that for 20 years, that means that you got paid $600,000 per month for these 8 months. And that's how you can actually think about it too, because if you did that and you got the sats, you can actually calculate your salary later when you actually go to sell those sats, because that's when the real conversion is there of those 8 million sats. So if you held on to those for 20 years and assuming if Bitcoin goes up for 40% per year, might be more, it might be less, but on average, you're going to be getting paid about $600,000 per month for driving Uber Eats right now. if you wait 20 years to spend it, that is going to be your salary for it. That's how you have to think about this. You factor in your salary after you've spent those sats. And if you hold on to those for 30 years, that's how this thing works. So great comment there. I think that everybody should be doing something similar to this for the foreseeable future, because sats are never going to be this cheap. Your time is never going to be worth this much, and you have to be taking advantage of this.